Oldest son's unsettling behavior escalates to a disturbing point, leaving me feeling scared and unsure of how to address the situation. I cannot sleep tonight because of how helpless I feel in this situation. I am an au pair. I started at 19, went to Australia and took care of 2 little girls, and loved it. After a year I came back home and went to college. But I decided that I wanted to travel again because I am interested in teaching English abroad one day. I met a really great family on an accredited website that I went to last time for my au pair match, and met a German family. They really liked me and I really liked them in the area, and I've always wanted to go to Germany, so after about 3 months of talking and making sure there was no other family I wanted to go with more, we went through with it. Now I am in Germany, and I have been here for 2 months. They have 3 children, all boys, a 1-year-old, who's the cutest thing on earth, a 14-year-old, who's friendly and sweet, and an 17-year-old, who I don't really provide much care for. He kept to himself a lot and didn't talk much with me, which I didn't mind because I'm mainly there for the 2 younger ones. But some weird things started happening. I began to notice that he started staring at me a lot whenever we were alone, or even at family dinner. He walks up to me at times and it sounds like he's asking me questions in German, but I can't understand him. The oldest boys can speak English. When I tell him I don't understand him, he just walks away. I asked his brother once what he asked, and he said it was something bad and he's told his brother to stop, but he won't listen. Then, over these past 2 weeks, he's made accidental contact with me. Sometimes he will brush up against me even when there's enough room for us to not bump into each other. 1 or 2 times, when this happened, I felt something on my waist, like his hand, but I thought maybe it was an accident. Now that they're out of school, we're alone at the house during the day while the parents work, and sometimes when I'm playing with the baby he will come and play with the baby too, but he will be very close to me, like to the point where I have no personal space. I have had to tell him a few times to give me space, and his younger brother has even said the same thing. Still, for some reason, I thought maybe he was just shy before and was starting to get comfortable with me. I didn't want to jump to conclusions or label him as anything, so most of this I've let go. I really like hanging out with the baby and playing board games and stuff with the 14-year-old. He's a funny, nice kid. But the bad thing that really happened was yesterday. The family went for a walk, and I stayed behind because I had bad cramps. The oldest boy also said he didn't feel like walking, so he stayed behind. We were there alone, and after they had left, I tried to go to my room, but he blocked me. I kept asking him to move, but he kept blocking me. The look on his face, like he thought it was funny, scared me. He would not speak English with me when I kept asking him why he was doing this, and at this point I felt scared and went to walk the other way. I was going to hide in a bathroom until the others came back. But then he grabbed my arm and forced my body against his. I don't know if it was a forced hug or what, but I tried to pull away, but he reacted by tightening his grip, so I just froze. He let me go after a few seconds and just left the room. When the family came back, I went into my room for the night, because I felt like I would just start crying in front of them. I don't know what I should do. I feel ashamed that I couldn't fight him off, and that I'm literally being harassed by a boy so much younger than me. I'm scared to tell the host parents, because I can tell they love their son a lot, and at the end of the day I'm just a random girl that they've only known for 2 months. I'm torn because I love the Unger 2 so much already, and wanted to have a good time in Germany. But this boy is acting so weird. I don't know why he went from basically ignoring me to doing this. I know that despite all of this I should probably try to talk to the host parents, probably my host mom, as I'm more comfortable sharing this with her. But I just don't know to bring that up. How to basically tell her that her son did something really weird to me. I never thought I would have to do this, or be in a situation like this, and I need some help. Please update 1. Hello, I posted not so long ago about a really bad situation. I hope that it's okay for me to post an update even though it was removed. I received a lot of people reaching out to me asking if I was okay and if I could provide an update, so I wanted to give some closure. Link to original. In short, I am an au pair in Germany, and was being harassed by my host parent's son, 17 meters. He basically assaulted me. It is still hard for me to come to full terms with that word, but I now know at least that it was, in fact, what it was. Yesterday was my day off, and after reading through everyone's advice and everything, I contacted my agency that morning. I made sure to first get out of the house, so no one would overhear me, and to get away from the older boy. The younger boy, the 14-year-old, asked me if he could go with me. I was going to the library, and I didn't mind taking him, even though technically he could go by himself. I see older children walking around alone a lot in Germany. But he specifically kept asking to go with me, and like I said before, he's a really good kid to be around, so I didn't mind. I was planning to go to a closed-off area and make my phone calls while he went around looking for books, but while we were walking to the library I could tell he wanted to say something. After a while I asked if there was anything wrong, and after a bit of a pause, he asked me nervously if I was okay, and if anything happened yesterday. He said he was wondering why he didn't see me at all anymore after they came back home. I didn't say anything at first, because I didn't want to tell him inappropriate information. I told him I just had bad cramps, which was true, and wanted to sleep. But he's a smart kid, and I think then he knew, because he asked if it was because of his older brother. When I didn't say anything, I was so caught off guard by his questions. He asked if I was leaving. He honestly looked so sad. He said he was sorry, and that he hoped I don't have a bad impression of Germany now. I almost cried, because of how depressed he sounded. I told him not to worry about it, and that it had nothing to do with Germany or him or the baby, and that I'd be okay. So I finally contacted my agency when we arrived at the library. I was so nervous that I was shaking when I made the call, but they were amazing, and took everything I was saying seriously. I just told them that oldest child was making me feel unsafe, and in vague terms what happened, without going into too much detail. They understood, thankfully, what I meant, and told me that they would work on replacing me, if that's what I wanted. They also said they would reach out to the family to let them know of what was happening and of my concern with their son. I then called my mom. Being a mother, after I told her everything that had happened, she yelled at me a little, not in an abusive way, but for not telling her sooner, and told me very sternly that I was not going back to that house tonight. Even being an adult, I don't argue with my mom when she uses that type of tone. She sounded so frantic, and sent me money to stay at a hotel for a while until they found me a new placement, even though she really just wanted me to come home. I felt a lot better after talking to her. After a while, the younger boy came back over and told me, very plainly, I'm going to tell mom. He would not listen to me when I told him not to, or not to put himself in that situation. I can handle it. He seemed very angry. He tried to reassure me that his parents would listen, and that they know that older brother causes trouble sometimes. They had another girl, a few years ago, that left because of him, and everyone thought maybe since he'd grown up and changed it would be different. I stayed at the library while he went home, and just waited. I did not know what was going to happen. I already had a hotel booked by then and knew I would probably need to go back to get my stuff. About an hour and a half later, I left the library. Since the parents were at home today, I felt somewhat safe going back to get my stuff. Before I got back, I received a call. It was from my host mom. When I answered, she was very frantic. She asked me if I was okay, and where I was. When I got to the house, the parents were in somewhat of an argument. I didn't understand all of it, because they went between German and English, but I heard some words, like not again, and ruining. In short, the mother pulled me aside. She said that she wasn't aware that the oldest son was still like this. She begged me not to leave. She told me she wanted her two youngest sons to have healthy attachments to their caregivers, and that it was very hard for them to do this with the oldest. She was actually crying during all of this, and told me she doesn't know why he acts like that, but she did not raise him like that. And that while she loved her son, she was not going to tolerate that behavior anymore. She said that once he turns 18 next week, I had no idea his birthday was next week, he will have to go live with his uncle and cousin in the Netherlands, for the sake of everyone in the house. She told me they, the parents, discussed it a bit when the first incident happened, but since he seemed to act better, they dropped it at the time. When I asked where he was, she said that he left quickly when his brother came home, saying he was going to a friend's house. He probably will not be back, and she said that even if he does, she will not let him in, and will tell him to go to his aunt's, who lives not that far, until he can go to the Netherlands. She actually looked very sincere and stern when she said this, and even though the father looked like he was in shock, he agreed with what she said. I didn't know how to respond to them. It was not the reaction I was expecting, but I wanted to be honest. I told her that I was going to stay at a hotel for a while, and that she will probably hear from the agency. I told her that I loved the two younger boys, but I might not be back. She said she understood, but would appreciate it if I at least thought about for a day or two. Before I left, I hugged the baby and 14 years/oh bye. So that is what happened. I am safe in the hotel now. I didn't at all expect that reaction from them. I felt almost sick with worry when I wrote my first post. Of not being believed. But even though the oldest boy probably won't be back and will eventually be forced to leave, I still feel the effects of what happened lingering. I still feel vulnerable and overwhelmed when I even think about what happened. I feel so bad for the younger children. I'm not sure if I should go back or not. She told me to think about it. I will give it some time and see what my agency says first about other placements. I just wanted to thank everyone for helping me through something really difficult. But I am safe now in this hotel, and I'm not going to rush back into any situation without thinking over my options, and asking for my mom's opinion. Thank you once again. _commenter_ as a German, this post infuriates me. 1. Therapy is free here. It sounds like the parents did absolutely nothing when this happened for the first time, they just hoped and thought their son got better. 2. The fact that they just want to get rid of their son by pushing him onto someone else instead of wanting him to face actual consequences, like going to the police with OP, is also infuriating. German police isn't perfect, but my own experiences with them have been genuinely good and I want to encourage OP to go to the police. 3. The parents are trying to subject OP to stay in a house where she was assaulted. That alone is so utterly tone deaf that it's hard to believe. 4. Sorry, Netherlands. _op_ yeah, I've officially made up my mind that I am not going back there. It hurts, because I do love the younger children so much, I hope they will be okay. The kids I watch become a part of me in a way, I still keep in contact with the family from Australia, and the younger ones both really seemed comfortable around me. The mom even said they usually aren't as open at first with new people like they were with me. I might still keep the host mom's contact info just to see if I can check up on them every now and then, purely for that purpose. And now that I'm really reflecting on it, it was a little strange that she still wanted me to stay after what happened. I thought maybe, for my mental health, she'd encourage me to leave. But I think she is desperate for an au pair, since they work a lot. That's amazing about therapy being free. I will suggest to the host mom about maybe seeing if the 14-years/0 would need someone to talk to. I made sure to tell him that I was not abandoning him, but he seemed to understand. He's very level-headed for his age. I know he'll continue to grow into an even more amazing young adult as he gets older. He told me he wouldn't forget me, and he'd tell baby brother about me a lot, so he'll always remember too. That's also good to hear about the police. I always worry about being a foreign girl and not being taken seriously in another country. I am going to reach out to the Vicer ring like another poster suggested and see if they can help me in that aspect. I feel bad for the people that might encounter him in the Netherlands, but I heard they don't play around there. So I hope he gets sense into him soon. But there are vulnerable girls and women everywhere, so it does leave me with a sad feeling. To give an update, I spoke with the agency sometime earlier today and asked them if there have been other au pairs with this family. They said this is their first time placing someone with the family, and if another au pair was with the family before, it was probably through another agency, but they had no knowledge of this, and when they interviewed the family was told this was a new experience for them. I am thinking maybe the other girl was through another agency. There are a few of them. I'm not sure that all au pair agencies can see the others' networks, but they said they will look further into it. They told me that for now, they will not be placing any new girls with this family, so that gave me some peace of mind. Now second story. Ida, would I be the asshole if I refused to wear contacts? I, 19F, cousin, 23F, is getting married in a couple of weeks. I am my cousin's Mo in her wedding. We have grown up together and have been through hell and back together. She is like a big sister I have never had. When I was in 3rd grade I started wearing glasses because I couldn't see far. She was the first person to tell me I looked beautiful in them, because I was insecure about how I looked in them, and that we can match because she wears glasses as well. Well, fast forward to today, I went over to my cousin's and her soon-be wife, 25F, house to talk about last-minute preparation of the wedding and all the fun stuff. When we started talking about pictures of the wedding, and this is where Jordan, my cousin's fiancé, told me that I should take off my glasses for the wedding and wear contacts because she doesn't want them to ruin her wedding photos and that I would look like an outcast. All of attention would be drawn to me if I'm the only one wearing glasses. To say I was shocked was understatement. I always been used to my glasses and I never took them off. I personally don't want to use contacts because it's so much work and I am a forgetful person and might end up sleeping with them on or something like that. I told Jordan that I wouldn't be comfortable with it and that contacts cost money since I have to get them in my prescription, which would take a while, as well as I much rather wear my glasses because I'm more comfortable with them on. She told me I'm being unreasonable and that my cousin is wearing contacts for the wedding, so I should be a good cousin and not ruin the wedding pictures. If not, she will tell my cousin to remove me from the wedding and I can attend as a guest. My heart kinda broke when she said that to me. I know my cousin wouldn't care if I wore my glass, so I'm here asking strangers for advice. Would I be the asshole if I don't wear contacts for my cousin wedding? And should I tell my cousin about this conversation with Jordan? BTW, my cousin wasn't in the room when this conversation happened. She went to buy some food for us. Please help me out, thank you. Smile edit. Hello everyone. I didn't think this post would get as much attention, but I wanted to clear some things up in this one. This seems to be the biggest as I read the comments. Yes, it's for the wedding pictures. I told Jordan, as many of you mentioned, I can just simply take them off for the photos. Sorry for not stating that in the post earlier, but she told me no, that I need to buy and wear contacts or else she would tell me cousin to drop me. She said it would throw everything off if people see me without glasses in the photos and then they see me with them on in the wedding, and it wouldn't look natural too. Some people think it's my cousin telling me this. It's not. She wasn't present when this conversation happened. My cousin also wears glasses and the only reason she not wearing them in her wedding is because Jordan convinced her to buy contacts so she can look more natural for the wedding. 3. This last one, guys, I'm not trying to ruin my cousin relationship. Before this, Jordan was nice with me and my cousin seems deeply in love with her. I could never imagine doing that to my own cousin. Ever since the day when my cousin asked me to be her Mo, that's when things started to become a little different between me and Jordan, but I always thought it's because the stress of planning a wedding takes a toll on you. I can answer any questions you guys have in the comments. Thank you so much. Smile update 1. Good morning or afternoon everyone. It's been an interesting few days and a lot has happened. This update is to my post, if I would I be the asshole if I refused to wear contacts to my cousin's wedding. Let's get into the very long update. So on Saturday my cousin called me saying she wanted to talk to me about something. I figured that would be a good time to tell her everything that went down with Jordan. So we met at a park next to our grandparents' house, and when I got there she was already waiting for me, but the vibe and energy seemed off. It was tense. I sat down in front of her. No one said a word for like 30 seconds, but it felt like forever. Then my cousin finally spoke with tears running down her face, asking me why I wanted to drop out of the wedding and no longer be her Mo. I was completely taken back by what she just told me. I never once said I would drop out of the wedding nor say I no longer wanted to be her Mo. As I was processing, she kept asking me questions of, do I not love her? What did she do? Why do I not want to be in the wedding? Why did I miss all of the wedding events her and Jordan planned? Do I no longer value the relationship we have and the stuff we went through? After 5 minutes of calming her down, I explained that I never once said that I'm dropping out of the wedding and that I do love her and value everything we went through. So to explain how close we are, with permission, I want to give you some examples. My cousin was the first person who helped me recover and move on from my toxic/abusive ex I was with for 3 years. She never once left my side, and I was the one who found my cousin after she tried to overdose. I spent every day in that hospital until she got better and was with her through her treatments and therapy sessions. As I was explaining all that to her, I started crying because why would she think that after everything we've been through? And she told me that Jordan was the one who told her. I said I no longer wanted to be in the wedding, and at all the events they had I always said I was busy. I looked at her confused. Cause what events is she talking about? My cousin saw my face and started to realize I did not know what she was talking about. She started talking about a barbecue and a weekend trip to Arizona. The whole wedding party went one last month. I told my cousin I didn't know anything about this and I never got invited to it. I thought Jordan invited you? I never once got an invite or message about any of this. I proceed to show my cousin my message with Jordan in the group chat of the wedding party, and nothing was there about the trip or dropping out of the wedding. My cousin was shocked and started asking more questions like, you didn't tell Jordan you wanted out of the wedding? When was the last time you talked to her? Why didn't you get invited? I explained to my cousin the last time I'd spoken to Jordan is when she told me about the contacts. I explained everything to her about how Jordan said if I don't put contacts she will tell her to kick me out of the wedding, as I stated in my original post. I even showed my cousin the post and she was livid. She started going on and on about how Jordan would stop bothering her about getting contacts for the wedding, and when my cousin would ask her why, Jordan would say it won't match the aesthetic to the wedding and would throw everything off. So finally, after weeks and weeks, she broke and got contacts for the wedding. My cousin looked at me and said, I could care fucking less if you wear glasses, it's a part of you. Hell, I would think you look weird and fucking unnatural if don't do it. And the fact she said that to you, out of all people, I'm not gonna stand for that. So after talking about an hour she left and I just sat there shocked after everything was said and done. Later that day around 12 a.m. I received a call from Jordan. At first I was confused because she doesn't call me, but I picked up thinking something happened, but nope, it was her crying and screaming at me because I'm ruining her wedding and I'm being a selfish little bitch. After a minute of that I just hung up. Then 5 minutes later got a text from my cousin to go over their house now. Once I got to house, it was a mess, stuff thrown on the floor, painting broken, dog toys all over the floor, glass everywhere. It looked like a tornado and an earthquake double teamed the house. But anyways, I walked into where my cousin and Jordan are sitting, and Jordan and just crying and screaming. Once she saw me she started yelling at me and calling me every name in the book. My cousin had to tell Jordan to shut the fuck up, and once she did, everything came out in the open. Basically, Jordan doesn't like me and hates that me and my cousin are so close. She been telling lies to my cousin about me to get her to hate me, as well as try to take my cousin from the family so she can have her to herself. To which Jordan yelled out, how the fuck am I supposed to know you don't like her or fuck her? No cousins are that close. To which my cousin said, this ain't fucking Alabama, you crazy bitch. She my cousin, we grew up together, you fucking idiot. She was there when I was dying. Where the fuck was you? Just because you have a fucked family doesn't mean we do. After that the night was blur. I was extremely tired and just wanted to go home. My cousin came with me and she been staying since that night. Jordan had been blowing up my and her phone asking for forgiveness and to give her a second chance and wants to make things right, but I told my cousin if she wants to go through with the wedding it's up to her. Cousin, I know she loves her, they've been together for 4 years now, so I know it can be hard leaving someone you gave your heart to. I'm so sorry for the long update, but that's what's been happening. Thank you to everyone who gave me advice and helped me realize that I wasn't being dramatic or overthinking and it was more of a deeper issue.